Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Brooklyn Boys Show. No Connor, but Josh Williver here with you today to talk about a very intriguing topic around the Nets fan base as we approach the offseason. Should Nic Claxton get traded? That and much more coming up. Make sure to drop down below this video, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, and make sure you hit that like button as well. The two best ways to support the work we do, pumps it out to the algorithm, gets the Nets community involved here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. We appreciate you all tuning in. Nic Claxton, an extremely interesting target for the Nets to trade, hypothetically. 4 years, $100 million contract last offseason. Just a year into it, he had a big-time regression in his performance from a year ago. Everything basically declined from 2023 to this season, 2023-24, to this past season. He was dealing with a couple injuries, but outside of that, his 3 years, $75 million that are left on his contract in a mock trade proposed by Bleacher Report would send him to Los Angeles. Team him up with LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the Lakers. The Nets' return package would include Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht, a future first-round pick, and a future first-round pick swap. So, should the Nets do this deal? To start off, I would say yes. Look, the Lakers need a center badly after Anthony Davis left. Their starting center right now on the roster is Alex Len. They have absolutely no depth. Not like Alex Len's going to provide much for you in and of itself. They don't have reliable rebounding and scoring in the paint right now. They need center play as bad as any contending team does. They want Nic Claxton. For the Nets, you're getting two guys with a lot of potential and a future first-round pick. You get to restart yourself and get off the books of the Nic Claxton contract. And that first-round pick could be huge later, depending on when and where it is. There's no proposed date or year of when the selection would be shipped to Brooklyn is. But you got to think it's sometime in the 2028 to 2030 range. LA would probably try to defer that as long as they can. And for a rebuilding Brooklyn team, I mean, it really doesn't matter. They have spread their picks out in such a variety of ways, whether that is 5 this year with that big Mikal Bridges trade and part of that earlier Kevin Durant trade, whether that's a couple picks in 2029 for Kyrie Irving, whether that is a couple picks later from the Knicks, still in that Mikal Bridges trade, 2031, and so forth. The Nets have so many picks spread out in so many places. This first round pick would just add to the haul that they already have. And you're also getting these two guys, one of which has a very bright future in this league, the other of which a solid 13.5 rebound a game guy in Rui Hachimura over his 6 NBA seasons. Talk about consistency. That's what this guy is, right? Night in, night out, you know what you're getting from Rui Hachimura. He's going to grab you a couple rebounds. He'll be, pivotal in the paint. He'll do his thing defensively. Look, the Nets need consistent power forward play. Who better to bring in than Rui Hachimura? Much better free throw shooter than Nic Claxton, 77%. I mean, did Nic Claxton shoot barely above 50% is the question last season. It was somewhat close. It was somewhere in that 50-60% range. God awful from the charity stripe. But Rui Hachimura, the definition of consistency if you bring him in. Dalton Knecht, the most intriguing piece in this deal. Put up 9 points in 20 minutes a game last night. He wasn't turning the ball over. He could have been much better from 3, which is where he made his bread in college. Just above league average of 37%. But Dalton Knecht, man, if you can sprout him into the shooter that he was taken at number 17 last year for a reason, that would be a huge plus. Even of itself, Nic Claxton for the future of Dalton Knecht. If they can turn him into that true shooter he was at Tennessee, I mean, that right there could justify shipping off Nic Claxton. let alone the first and consistent power forward play. I think Dalton Knecht has a very bright future in this league if he can develop and stay consistent from beyond the arc, because that's the kind of guy he is. In college, averaged 22 points a night in 30 minutes at Tennessee. I think that's where you really have to look. If you want to look at his rookie year stats on the Lakers, fine. But just know, obviously, he wasn't the number one option. You have LeBron James. You have Luka Doncic. A rookie 3 and D guy isn't going to be the primary guy offensively. And he also was playing less than half the time in the games and still getting close to double digits, still having a couple big games to tally in that stat sheet. I think that if Dalton Knecht, you bring him in here and pair him up with a couple of late firsts that can shoot well, even if you want to go the route of Trey Johnson at 8, Cam Johnson, Dalton Knecht, and Cam Thomas, Dalton Knecht, and Fears, Trey Johnson. How scary would that be? But really, what I think of this trade, when you get Claxton off the books at the center spot, but what he really opens up is a world of possibilities to go center at 8. Honestly, I think that the best value in this draft, when you're sticking at 8 and you're not trading up, is to go for the center spot. There are 3 really, really, really solid guys. Kuman Malawach, Colin Murray Boyles, Queen out of Maryland, right? 3 guys who you could all justify taking with the 8th pick, and a lot of mocks have them all sitting there at your disposal for you to take at 8. So you get Claxton off the books, you bring in a young center. For me, out of those 3 would be Malawach, ton of potential, 7'2" guy from overseas. We've seen it. This is what the modern NBA is evolving into. Big, athletic guys from overseas who know how to score the ball. Kuman Malawach, at 17 years old, as a freshman at Duke, uh, did a ton of great things. And then you pair him with a bit of lethal shooting in that backcourt. You have Cam Thomas. Rui Hachimura plays alongside Malawach in that paint. CMB, one of the more polished centers in this draft. If you were to go after him, you can absolutely justify that pick. Maybe not the most potential like Malawach, but if you want a guy that you want to pick and you know day one what you're going to get out of him at that center role, Colin Murray Boyles is the way to go. And then, obviously, a ton of potential later in the draft. Uh, you have 19. You have uh, the mid 20s at your disposal, and you even have an early second at your disposal if you want to end up going shooting later in the draft. So I think really what this Claxton trade to LA justifies is getting that contract off the books, getting more young talent in here, adding a first round pick, getting in a sharpshooter in Dalton Knecht that, I mean, if you can develop, he is going big time places. And then finally, clearing yourself up to take the dream center of Sean Marks in this front office's choice at number 8. That would be the Nic Claxton trade scenario to the Los Angeles Lakers. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, drop a comment. We'll be responding to all of those. Hit that like button, smash subscribe so you never miss an upload. I'm Josh Wolliver for the Brooklyn Boys Show. We will see you on the next one.